freedom and limits on power. Ron DeSantis may not like them, he may not respect them, but he has to follow them. This morning, I filed suit in federal court to challenge the blatant abuse of power by Governor DeSantis in suspending me as state attorney. There is so much more at stake here than my job. Ron DeSantis is hoping to get away with overturning the results of an election and throwing out the votes of hundreds of thousands of Floridians. By challenging this illegal abuse of power, we're to make sure that no governor can toss away the results of an election because he disagrees with the outcome. Our suit asks a judge to compel the governor to rescind his illegal order and to prohibit him from taking similar action against me in the future. I'm a twice-elected county prosecutor who spent my career locking up violent criminals and fraudsters. Without warning, I was forced out of my office by an armed deputy, removed from my elected position, and replaced by a Ron DeSantis accomplice. Now, the governor's authority is not unlimited. He can disagree with my political views. He can disagree with my criminal justice philosophy. He can even disagree with my unwavering commitment to public safety, fairness, and justice. And he can do all of those things because he's protected by the First Amendment. But the First Amendment doesn't just protect him. It protects everyone, even those of us he disagrees with. Our country has become so divided. Too many elected officials have weaponized politics to divide us, to the point where people no longer just debate the issues. They fight about the facts. They belittle each other's values and patriotism. But the one thing we can all agree on, the one thing that unites us, the one thing that has made our nation a beacon for hope and freedom throughout the world is democracy. Democracy matters. It doesn't matter what party you belong to or who you voted for. Your vote matters, and no elected official has the right to take away that vote. The governor has attacked our democracy, and that should outrage everyone. If the governor's attempt to unilaterally overturn an election is allowed to stand, it threatens to undermine the integrity and outcomes of elections across our state for years to come. The danger posed by this illegal act cannot be overstated, and that's why we must fight back. Not tomorrow, not during the next election, but now. Many people have reached out to show their support, and I cannot thank you enough for your faith in me and your commitment to the values of our democracy. If you want to come join the fight, please go to andrewwarrenfl.com. That's andrewwarrenfl.com. We didn't seek out this fight, but the law is on our side and our democracy is at stake. We must win, and we will. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jay to address some of the details of the lawsuit, and then we'll be happy to take a few questions.
Thanks so much, Andrew. I'm very pleased to be joined by my colleague Margot Castleman from Perkins Coie, our colleagues here locally, David Singer and Matt Newton. And as Andrew said, our lawsuit is straightforward, and it is its principal claim talks about the First Amendment, the same First Amendment that protects you, that protects me, that protects Governor DeSantis, also protects Andrew when he speaks out on issues of public importance. And because it's clear from the executive order that Governor DeSantis removed Andrew for what he said, for what he thinks, rather than some failure or something that he did, the First Amendment says that's illegal. And we've asked the United States District Court in Tallahassee to say so. We've also asked the United States District Court to confirm what Florida state courts have confirmed for a long time. The governor's power granted by the Florida Constitution is not unlimited. The governor was elected too, and he has every right to exercise the powers of his office. But those powers are what the Constitution says they are, what the Florida Constitution says they are. They're not what Governor DeSantis says they are. They're not what Governor DeSantis wishes they were. They are what the 11th Circuit has called power to remove in extraordinary circumstances. A difference of opinion is not an extraordinary circumstance. A public official speaking out about his firmly held beliefs on criminal justice, that also is not an extraordinary circumstance. In fact, a public official speaking out is exactly what the First Amendment was designed to protect. Because only when public officials speak out and when their opinions on important issues of the day become part of the marketplace of ideas, can the press, can the people, can the voters debate them, and then can the voters make the choice the Constitution empowers them to make, which is selecting the state attorney. It's the voters, not the governor, that chooses the state attorney.
Questions? I'm sorry.
Aaron? Yes, all right. Thank you. Just after your press conference this morning, the governor had some comments. One of the things he said was that saying you're not going to enforce the law is, in his opinion, by definition, dereliction of duty. What's your response to that?
Look, I'll let Jay address the merits of the lawsuit, but as he just said, it's pretty clear what we've argued. Just because the governor wants the law to be a certain way doesn't make it that way. And here, the governor has violated two laws. One, he's retaliating against me for what I've said, which is a violation of my First Amendment rights. And two, he's abusing the power granted to him under the Florida Constitution to suspend me without any legal justification. So this lawsuit is to make sure that even though Ron DeSantis is still the governor in Florida, we're confirming that the First Amendment still has meaning. The Florida Constitution still has meaning. And elections and voters still have meaning.
There's been chat of a Senate hearing in this whole process, and obviously a lawsuit now, there's hopefully an injunction. What happens to any kind of Senate hearing? Can you maybe explain that?
Yeah, I'm happy to speak to that. So you're right that the Constitution provides that once the governor invokes his suspension power, the ultimate decision to remove or reinstate, if it goes that far, lies with the Senate. The Senate only has a role, however, if the governor has lawfully invoked his power. In other words, they don't get to decide that every day. It's only in special circumstances where the governor has invoked his power lawfully that the case proceeds that far. We've stepped in and asked the court to confirm that what the governor has done is unlawful. And under Senate rule, it provides that if there is a legal challenge, the Senate proceeding is on hold until that legal challenge is resolved, and we expect that that's the process will follow here. Yeah. But good question. It's a very esoteric point, and thank you for the opportunity to clarify that.
Mr. Warren, you were elected to be the state attorney in Hillsborough County twice, and I think your complaint laid out that more than 369,000 people voted for you this time around. But I was wondering if you could address, some of what has been written about you, that you're backed by these influences outside of Florida, that you're backed by Soros and these folks like that. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I work for the people of Hillsborough County. That's who I've always worked for. The people who elected me because they shared my vision of criminal justice, they trusted my judgment, and then they re-elected me because they saw the results. And let's talk about the results for a minute. Hillsborough County has the lowest crime rate of any county in the Tampa Bay area, the lowest crime rate of any major county in Florida. Our crime rate has gone down nearly 30% over the last 5 years. I mean, these are the facts. So when the governor is saying things about the job I did or didn't do, that's not what this is about. This is about what I said, not about the job that I did as state attorney.
I have a question in regards to the voicemail, the Cameron Herron sentence voicemail. Two-part question. One, what do you think of the timing of this being released? And two, was it a just sentence?
So it's no secret that I was surprised by the judge's sentence because he went above the statutory guidelines. But at the end of the day, my job as state attorney was to hold the defendants accountable, to fight for the victim's family, and to deliver the justice that Jessica and Lilia deserved, and that's exactly what we did.
Definitely not implying that you sought this out in any way, but sort of ironically, as a result of the governor's suspension of you, your political profile has risen. You've been on TV all the time. You're holding multiple press conferences in the state today. What do you make of that?
This is such an important issue. I mean, you can't overstate the importance of this. This is not about me. This is not about one elected official being suspended from office. This is about the attempted overthrow of democracy in Florida, and that's the fight we're fighting.
Aaron, you were removed from office, obviously, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Now you've got Susan Lopez.
Suspended.
Suspended, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Now you've got Susan Lopez in there. If the judge grants an injunction, you would be back in office. I guess my question is, what could be just an ongoing upheaval going on over there at the state attorney's office?
Look, the governor likes to talk about law and order, but he's violated the law and he's created disorder in the criminal justice system in Hillsborough County. And as soon as I'm reinstated, we'll continue doing the work that the people elected me to do that has led to the lowest crime rate in Hillsborough County of anywhere in the Tampa Bay region.
If you're reinstated, how will your relationship with Sheriff Cronister, who stood with the governor on your suspension, how do you resolve that relationship if it's an important relationship for a state attorney and a county law enforcement officer?
Yeah, the relationship between prosecutors and law enforcement is supposed to be productive but imperfect. And after I'm reinstated, I look forward to continuing to work with law enforcement like we've done in the past to have the success that we've had over the last 6 years.
Yeah, actually two questions. First question, it's been, what, the beginning of the month of August when you were suspended?
August 4th.
August 4th. What, personally, how has this been for you?
Over the past 12 days now, 12, yes, I've been energized by the amount of support that people have shown because they recognize how important this is. Again, this is not about me. This is a fight for democracy. This is a fight to make sure that votes matter, that elected officials can't just throw out the results of an election. So it's been inspiring to see so many people from across the aisle, from across the state, join me in that fight.
So personally, it had to have been chaos.
It's not about me personally. This is about a fight for democracy in the state of Florida, and that's what we're focused on.
Eric?
Andrew, you decided to go federal on this. How concerned are you that even if you prevail at the base level and then it gets to the 11th Circuit, which has been very friendly to Ron DeSantis, that this case could create precedent that would undermine exactly what you say you're here trying to battle against?
Eric, it's a good question. If we don't fight back against this, if we allow the governor to have the power to remove an elected official on a whim, what's left of our democracy?
Any more questions? We'll wrap up.
I spoke with a constitutional expert that has been, working First Amendment cases for 40 years, and he says that you are going to get your job back. But as the gentleman just mentioned, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals tends to lean in another way, it appears. Do you think you're going to get a fair shake before the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals?
Look, you can never guarantee an outcome at trial. All we can guarantee is that the law is on our side, the facts are on our side, the truth is on our side, and this is a fight for democracy. We look forward to when the court has a chance to evaluate everything that's happened. They will see this for the violations of law that it is, and they'll put me back in office.
What sort of timeline can you expect that the courts will look at this, deal with it, and it's not hanging in limbo, you're wondering?
Yeah, I'm happy to speak to that. Look, we obviously hope that this happens quickly. We've asked for interim preliminary relief. Those matters are often set on an expedited schedule, and we hope to reach out to counsel on the other side once the events of today subside a little bit and try to come up with an orderly schedule. My hope is, and I know that Andrew's hope is, that this is heard and resolved on the merits very, very quickly. For those of you that cover the courts regularly, you know that quickly in judicial time is not always quickly to the rest of us. But we would hope that this is resolved in a matter of weeks, maybe several weeks or a month or two. Not a year or 2 years, as litigation often can take. A lot of that will be determined by the court, of course, but certainly we're going to be asking that this be heard quickly.
Along those lines, since the clock is ticking, it's just a follow-up to that. Since the clock is ticking in the Senate, if it does take longer than that, and
Clock's not ticking in the Senate, it's paused during this legal challenge.
A technical question. If I'm not mistaken, the website that you had been promoting had originally been leading to a political committee donation page, and I believe it's now a legal fund donation page. Can someone address why that change was made between those two different types of accounts?
I'm going to say that someone, if someone is here, it's certainly not me. And a good lawyer knows his limits and knows when to stay in his lane, so I'm going to gracefully step aside.
Got a lot of blanks there.
Yeah, we've set up a legal fund. We've set up a legal fund because we need the resources to fight this fight. I mean, we are fighting on behalf of every single voter in Florida who wants their vote to count. And let's be clear. I mean, the governor is bankrolling his fight with the state treasury. He's using public resources, taxpayer dollars, to subvert the will of the voters and remove me from office.
How much do you think it'll cost? How much do you? Well, it's a problem.
I'm trying to keep order. I got smacked down for not doing it earlier. We can do like one more question. One more question, anybody? Awesome.
You have called Susan Lopez an accomplice of Ron DeSantis. Specifically, has she done anything in the past 2 weeks that you don't agree with?
This isn't about the interim state attorney. This is about the governor's illegal suspension of the duly elected state attorney. This is about the governor's ability to violate the law with the potential to suspend other elected officials throughout the state. As soon as I'm back in the state attorney's office, we'll continue to do exactly what I was elected to do from the people of Hillsborough County.